Hej, hej, hej. Välkommen tillbaka till min YouTube channel. I need to lift this up a little bit. There we go. So it's been a couple of weeks, but I've been doing better on keeping up on the YouTube channel thing. I am in Phoenix, Arizona, and a little burned. It was kind of warm today. It was I think it was low 80s, and I was working up on a roof about 35 feet in the air, which I really don't like doing anymore. I don't like getting up that high. Anyway, tack för sist. Det är gott att snacka med alla igen. Thank you for the last time. It's good to talk to everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week. Today is Friday, and I think it's the 23rd. I lose track when I'm on the road. Last weekend, we went riding with a bunch of friends in Mesquite, Nevada, and Logandale, Nevada. Some of the funnest riding I ever do. Anyway, I thought, it's been a while since I've talked about this. I thought I would kind of, just for those of you who don't know me, or maybe you're seeing my YouTube channel for the first time, wondering who is this putz here, kind of reintroduce myself and my kind of backstory, and hopefully get some discussion going. By the way, it is Friday. Skål. This is a Michelob Ultra. What is it? Prickly pear cactus. Pretty good. Can only drink a couple of them because they give me heartburn if I drink too many of them. How do I like getting old? I had somebody write me today about they had just turned 80, and they're like, how did that happen? That's kind of how I feel about 60, is like, how did 60 happen? What? Wasn't I just 18 years ago old, not very long ago? Anyway, so real briefly, I'm not going to rehash the whole story in great detail because I have told it before, but I was born in Norway, December 10th, 1963, Stavanger. My mom was from Hjelmeland, which is, now they don't have the ferry. You have to go under the ocean to get to Tau, which is, we would take the ferry to Tau, and then you drive, I think it's about 45 minutes in Hjelmeland, Åldal. I have family that lives in there still. And my dad was from Stavanger. I'm not exactly sure when they met. I want to say they were around 17 or 18 because my dad was only 19 when they got married. My mom had literally just turned 20. They're a few months apart. In fact, my mom's 82nd birthday is coming up next week. So if my dad's watching this, my mom will never see this stuff. She's never on anything like this. But Gratulerer med dagen, Mama. Maybe my dad will pass this on to her. But yeah, my parents are super cool. So my dad, we lived in Stavanger, and I was probably about a year old, and I'm not going to go into the whole backstory because I have told it in a previous video, but he decided to join the Mormon church, which they don't even like you calling that anymore. I think they say they want to be called Latter-day Saints. All right, fine. It's always Mormon to me. I grew up Mormon. I left the church a long time ago, but I have a lot of respect I have a lot of family that's still LDS, and I actually served a Mormon mission, and they sent me back to Norway in 1983, which was super cool. I wasn't big on the church then either, but I really wanted my parents to be proud of me, and I knew they wanted me to go. So I went, and they sent me to Norway, and I got to live all over Norway. I mean, I was in, I started out in Porsgrunn, Hosien. Did not like it there. Now, don't get me wrong, because I know there's people watching this that have family there, and it's a beautiful area. The problem was when I went there, I was told So when you serve a Mormon missionary, you go to what's called the MTC, Missionary Training Center, and you learn the language and you learn about the religion and how to teach it and all blah blah blah. But I already kind of spoke Norwegian because I was almost 5 when we moved from Norway, so I was obviously speaking Norwegian. My parents spoke it the whole time growing up. My two of my younger brothers, the next two, Trond and Leif, Trond and Leif, were also born in Norway, but they don't remember a word of Norwegian. I kept it because my parents spoke it a lot. And so when I went on that Mormon mission, it came back really easy to me. And when I was in Norway, I became really fluent. Now that is 40 years ago. So I'm not super fluent anymore. I can speak the language. I just ran into some people here in the hotel a couple nights ago, or a couple days ago, not nights. Went down for breakfast, and there was this group of 8 people, and they were speaking Norwegian, and they were from Kristiansand, which is very similar dialect to Stavanger. So it was really cool to talk to them. But so I went back there and lived there for a year and a half, and I was in Porsgrunn, I was in Haugesund, I was in Drammen, I was in Stavanger, I was in Bodø, and I was in Kristiansund. So I lived in all those towns for at least 3 months each. The last town I lived in was Stavanger, which was super cool because I got to see a whole bunch of my family. My mom has 10 siblings. My dad has 4. So I got just a shitload of cousins in I should probably say, I don't throw a lot of F-bombs out or swear words just for the hell of it, but occasionally, something's going to come out of my mouth. So just be aware that let's call it PG-13. I will try not to throw any F-bombs out. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just, is what it is. Hopefully I don't offend anybody. Hopefully my goal is always to make people happy, to try to be a positive influence on the world. We started our own group, Viking Heart Life Social Group. I know I've just took a U-turn, but the reason we started that group was I'm part of several groups on Facebook that are Norwegian based, and I like being part of them. There's a lot of cool people I've met, virtually, but I've met a whole bunch of cool people that are Facebook friends now. If somebody sends me a friend request and I recognize the name, I'll usually accept the request. Sometimes I get, you always got to be aware of scams and weirdos. But for the most part, the Norwegian group people are really cool. And I'm friends with a lot of people. But the point is, I just left one group on Facebook. It was a Viking group. Viking Heart Life Social Group is not necessarily about Vikings. I mean, I love Viking history. I love my Norwegian history, my heritage. But it's more about a community where people can just kind of come together and not have to worry about if you say something wrong, you're not going to get bagged on in our group. And if somebody does bag on somebody, I'll give them a chance, but you'll be booted out. I have no interest in that. It's a group for fun. I started it about a week and a half ago, and we're at 215 people now, and I hope it keeps growing. And the point was to bring all Scandinavians, including Finns and Icelanders, which I know a lot of people, I said this in a previous video, don't consider it Scandinavia. I do. For our purposes, I do. Because it's all that area of the world. And I just think it's cool. We have a lot in common. Now, Finnish is a very different language than Swedish or Danish or Norwegian. I can talk to some Swedes and some Danes and get by pretty decently. Finnish person, you might as well be talking Russian, which is probably closer to than Norwegian. But so if you're interested and you see this video, look us up, Viking Heart Life social group. I also have a page called just Viking Heart Life. That page I use for business, for my Etsy shops. So if you're not interested in seeing any of that kind of stuff, go to the Viking Heart social group. Viking Heart Life social group, I'm sorry. Let's go on. So, my dad became Mormon, LDS, in Norway, and decided he was going to move us to Australia, of all places. About as far away from our family as you could go. Serendipity, circumstance, fate, whatever you want to call it. This guy, I got to turn off my AC. It's cold as hell in here. This guy showed up from this little tiny town in Canada at our church one week. And he met my dad and blah, 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 yada, 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 if you like Seinfeld. And we ended up moving to this little tiny town. I mean, at the time, it was probably 4,000 people in the middle of the prairies, Alberta, Canada. And I freaking loved it. I loved growing up there. I have so many good friends still from there. In fact, one of my best friends, we met when he was probably 15 and I was 16 or 17. And we are married to sisters now. When I got divorced 30 years ago this year, that's freaking incredible. I can't believe it's that long. I got divorced 30 years ago, and he was working for me. His name's Gary. I'm not going to say last names, but Skål. He introduced me to his sister-in-law, who had also just gone through a divorce. She had a little boy, 5 months old, and that's Kate. And if you're part of our Facebook group, she's an admin on there. Best thing ever happened to me. I'm still friends with my ex-wife, and we have a beautiful daughter together. We have 3 granddaughters together, Kirsten, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I always take the viewpoint that what happens in life is probably meant to happen. I just think that's the way to look at life. For example, today, I had a really shitty day at work, and I'm a really positive guy. Even through the crap today, I stayed positive. I'm working on this big roof way up high on a lift. I had 2 lifts break down, and it was kind of a pain in the ass, and just things didn't go very well for me today. But, I have a great life. I have a great wife. I have great kids. I ended up adopting Braden, who was her son. He was 5 months old. She got married. They got divorced really quick. In fact, they got divorced before Braden was born. And I adopted him pretty quickly. I think we probably got married when he was about 2, and then I adopted him, I think, at 3. And he's my son. In fact, him and my other son, Cooper, got an apartment together now. And it's really cool. Braden has 2 beautiful girls. So I have Kirsten from my first marriage. She has 3 daughters, beautiful granddaughters. Braden is from Kate's first marriage. I adopted him. He has 2 beautiful girls. We just love them all to death. I mean, they're just incredible. And then Kate and I together had Hannah and Cooper. And I'm just so blessed. They're all amazing human beings. I want to say we did a good job raising them, but they're just good people. Cooper will be turning 23 here in just a couple of weeks. Wow. Hannah just turned 26. That can't be right. Braden he'll be 29, and Kirsten will be 33. Yikes. Any of you that have kids that age, you get it. It's there's a country song that says, days go slow and years go fast. And that's the damn truth. That's the damn truth. It blows my mind. My wife threw me a huge party on my 50th 10 years ago. And I mean, we had, I don't know, 40 or 50 friends there. That that could be a year ago to me. It's incredible. Time really is a thief. But enjoy the time you have, because we don't know what we have. Um, I'm not a religious guy, and I know I'm kind of babbling, but I want to kind of get across who I am, and I would really love to get to know as much as I can get to know somebody through a social media group. I'd like to get to know some of you. Tell me your stories. Join our group, share your pictures, share your family as much as you're comfortable doing. Some people aren't comfortable doing that. I'm a very open guy. There's things I won't share. There's things that are private, and I keep them that way. But I'm just a blessed guy. I'm on the road 220 days a year. That's tough, especially the older I get. It's just hard on my body. And let's go. I'm hoping, working with a buddy of mine, to maybe get off the road here in the next few months. Our Etsy stuff is growing. Anybody that's interested in that, it's called Viking Heart Designs. Viking Heart Designs on Etsy. I won't push my stuff here. I won't. But like I said, in the Viking Heart Life social group, that is all just about sharing and hanging out and fun, kindness, positivity. So if that's something you think you dig, or you like my vibe, man, I always forget to say this. I should say this at the beginning of the video, but if you dig what I'm doing, if you dig this group, if you dig the YouTube videos, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It helps me get to more of you. And I would love to have ideas about what you would like to hear. What's cool? What would you like to hear me talk about? I keep threatening to talk about some Viking history. And I have to tread lightly there, because there are groups that have taken over Viking symbology. I have 2 tattoos that are Viking symbols. One has all my kids' birthdays on it, and I dig it. I love it, but I'm not into the stuff that is not positive. People have hijacked some of that stuff, and it pisses me off. And every once in a while, somebody will see one of my tattoos and ask me where I was in prison, or well, you guys can all guess. You know where I'm going. I'm not going to go into it, because it's negative shit, and I don't want to talk about it. But that's not me. This group, everybody is welcome. You don't even have to be Scandinavian. If you want to be part of our group, come join us. My buddy Jose asked the other day, hey, can I be part of that group? I'm not Norwegian. I'm not Scandinavian. I'm like, hell yeah, you can. The more the merrier. And so far, we've got really cool people in the group, and I dig it. And I'm coming up on 20 minutes. I can sit and talk forever. I'm a yapper. Anybody that knows me knows that. But hopefully you'll join us. I will throw some Norwegian in here and there. I'm not perfect at Norwegian. I'm decent. I can get by. Excuse me. And so if you want to hear more of that, just let me know. And we will talk again soon. I'm gonna, like I said, I think it's Friday the 23rd of February. I'm hoping to head home in a week here. I've got a friend's birthday party I'm supposed to try to get to a week from today, but don't know if it's going to happen. But positive. Think positive, right? So anyway, everybody, I hope you have a great weekend, a great week, a great year. Let's make 2024 fantastic. Come join our group. We'd love to have you. And share your comments, share your whatever, share your pictures, share your stories, share your Norwegian heritage, your Swedish heritage, your Danish heritage, whatever. It's all cool here. So det var veldig kjekt å snakke med alle dere. It was really fun to talk to all of you. Og håper alt går bra for alle. I hope everything goes great for everybody. Og vi snakkes snart igjen. We'll talk soon again. By the way, where I come from, we is V in a lot of Norway. Where I come from, we say me. Vi snakkes snart igjen. If you're coming from Oslo, you'd say vi snakker, I can't even roll my R. Vi snakker snart igjen. I can't do it. Vi snakker snart igjen. Og det er så kjekt å snakke med alle. Så ha det godt. Vi snakkes snart. Ha det.